like you can also tell that
Okay, if,
I'm working in the hospital.
hi everyone. Good evening, everyone. So, welcome to the show. We have Akshat Jain speaking to us from Germany, and people who have just joined us, who are joining us. Today, we are going to discuss about Germany as a country, one of the strongest economies in Europe, and a hot destination because a lot of Indians go there. When I go to schools and colleges, people keep on asking, "Is it really for free? Can we just go and attend classes, join a college, study with people from 50, 60 countries? Can we get good jobs? Can we stay back? Can we study in Germany? Can we then go to other countries?" So all these queries we're going to answer today. I've got Akshat Jain live from Germany with me. He is at Munich right now. Hi Akshat, welcome to the show.
Hi, sir. Thank you very much for inviting me to the show today and letting me share my experience with all the viewers we have. So, good evening, everyone.
Of Great, great. So Akshat is an enthusiastic learner who strives to reach his full potential in whatever he does. He passed out from Kiar Manglam Word School, Delhi, and presently, I mean, he has gone. He's a bio student. He has gone for human medicine, and he'll be starting his course this fall. But of course, he has been there now for almost 1.5 years. Akshat.
Yes, sir.
Great, great. So I'll let Akshat talk more about it, but a quick this thing in 2019, I also traveled across Germany. I started from Frankfurt. I have students who are studying at Frankfurt Institute of Finance and Management, which is a top management institute. Good placements, good this thing. They have both bachelor's and master's courses. If I remember correctly, bachelor's that time was around 11 lakhs. Now it would have increased by 1 or 2 lakhs. So Frankfurt Institute is a private institution, and then I went to Stuttgart, University of Stuttgart, which is a public institution. And then I visited Munich, so TUM as well as Munich Business School. So a couple of universities I visited. So a lot of places, but it's easy to learn. Like I did not have any knowledge of German language, but I would say navigate through universities, boards, like when you see indications which side to go, how to go about it, uh, people. So it was quite comfortable. But today I let Akshat talk more about it. So Akshat, how your journey has been? First of all, when did you start thinking of Germany? Which grade did you start thinking? How did you start? Like step by step, tell us everything in detail.
Yeah, so like I completed my class 12th in 2020 from Kiamangamburg School, New Delhi. And in my class 11th already, I had started planning my trip to Germany because I just wanted to have a backup. Like every medical student in India wants to have a backup because everyone knows that the NEET examination that is conducted in India for medicine is really difficult. And just for case, you need to have a backup. So my backup was Germany. So in 2020, once I completed my class 12th, at the same time, I had applied myself for many universities for the admission to the Student Colleague. I'll come to the Student Colleague later and I'll explain it very detailedly. But first of all, you need to complete a Student Colleague. So I had already applied myself in the universities like TU Dresden, TU Munich, University of Heidelberg. But the problem was that time came the corona. So I could not fly because of the travel restrictions and the visa problems and everything. So I had to wait for 5 to 6 months in India, and I used this time like quite fruitfully, and I learned German till B2, which is a must for the Student Colleague. And I prepared myself for the entrance examinations to the Student Colleague and everything. And then in the January of 2021, I finally got the chance to fly to Germany, and I came straight to Munich. And ever since, I'm just in Munich. I never left Munich. And in February, I wrote the entrance examination to the Student Colleague of Munich, which I successfully cleared. And
What is this? What is this exam, Akshat? If you can tell us about this exam.
So the entrance examination to the Studienkolleg is called Aufnahmeprüfung in German. And if you break the term, Aufnahme means that Mhm.
Student colleague.
Studienkolleg. Yes, it's the Studienkolleg. So the entrance examination is the Aufnahmeprüfung. And if you break this word, Aufnahme means the intake and Prüfung means the examination. So it's the intake examination. And this examination is conducted in many universities twice a year, in some universities only once a year, usually in the summer semester and winter semester, like just before the start. And the examinations are always physical. So you need to physically be here to take the examination. The exam consists of two parts. It's the German part and it's the mathematics part. But in some universities, again, there are exceptions and they have more subjects like chemistry or physics, but that's very rare. Primarily, it's German, and they just want to test your German language skills so that all the subjects they're going to teach in the student colleague, like you should already have a basic German knowledge to understand what they're going to teach. So that's what the examination is about. And once you clear the examination, you finally get the immatriculation and everything, and then you can study for 1 complete year in the student colleague. And after that, you just write a Abschlussprüfungen. It's the Abschluss. That means that's the final examination. And Prüfungen is once again the exam. So after this final examination, you again get a marks. Like, for example, the class 12 grades we get. There are again some grades that you get over here after the Abschluss. And then you can apply with these grades to all the universities you want to. And these grades are really important for an application.
So again, for the clarification of students, because a lot of students keep on asking, so do I need a minimum this thing in German before I go in for student colleague exam?
Yes, for applying to the student colleague, a lot of universities demand B1 and some universities demand B2. And that's the German language level to Goethe Institute has set in India. So there are like 6 levels: A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, and C2. And from A to C, it just gets difficult. So for the entrance examination, you must have a B1, only then you're going to get an invite to the examination. And from my personal experience, to clear the examination, you must have a knowledge of C1, because then you can just have a sure shot at it that yes, it's going to go good. Otherwise, it's like quite difficult to struggle with all the grammatic and all the vocabulary that they're going to ask. So C1 is a very safe option for me if I want to write the entrance examination anytime.
You took help from Goethe Institute for learning German?
Yeah, I did it also from some private institutes, but mainly I did it from Goethe Institute. And I would highly recommend the Goethe Institute because their certificates are valid everywhere. I have had students with me who had problem with their private certificates because they're just not that reliable and the proficiency is always questioned if it's really true. But the Goethe Institute certificates are like world standard. So even if you show that certificates, that's just enough.
Again, to reiterate, first step, learn German language. If I'm thinking of Germany, learn German language.
Yes,
Students, why this thing will be, you can start from 9th, 10th class also. Why? I mean,
yes.
learn it at your own pace. Initially, of course, you can use apps like Duolingo, or you can, initially to start off. But as Akshat is sharing, join Goethe Institute if you're very serious about it, so that you get your certifications. You kind of prepare for the exams. You clear A1, A2, B1 at least, but preferably
Mm-hmm.
B2 and C1 also. Yeah, if
Yes,
you have done
yes,
C1, then you are most likely to get it. So
yeah,
after this, I start applications universities.
yeah.
So which places can I like? Is it for public universities or private universities also? Are there any English taught programs also, like for medicine, for bio based? So how do I start? How do I? And we keep on hearing about TU9, like TUM, TUB, and so
Mm-hmm.
on.
Mm-hmm.
So so how do I as a student start off with the process step by step? How do I build up?
So, to this question, first of all, I would like to mention that there are in total 19 student colleagues in Germany, but not all 19 student colleagues have all the courses available. For example, if you want to study medicine in Germany, so you need to attend a M course student colleague, and M stands for medicine. So, out of the 19 student colleagues, only 9 student colleagues offer a M course. So you need to first apply to the main university because the student colleague is associated with the university. As you mentioned, TU9, for example, TU Munich, it has its own student colleague. So if you want to visit the student colleague at TU Munich, you need to apply to TU Munich with your application for the student colleague, and then you're going to get an invitation for this Aufnahmeprüfung. And that's how it works in all the student colleagues all over the Germany, that you apply to the main university, you get an invitation, and then you write the exam, and then you get a place in the student colleague. And further, to all the courses, like all the courses in TU9, it's like the TU is always known for the engineering part. And like the TU Munich is considered the best university in Germany for engineering. And I have many friends who are studying at TU Munich right now, and they're doing like mechanical engineering, aeronautical engineering, and so on. But for medicine, the best universities are considered, for example, the University of Heidelberg, the University of LMU Munich, like it's just situated in Munich. Then comes the Marburg University, the Humboldt University. So these universities, you just come into these universities after the student colleague. So that's another set of application you need to do. And that's with the final grades of the student colleague. And just coming back to the question once again, the application should be done like very nicely, because it's really important that you have the correct motivation letters, you have the correct grades, and you have the correct German proficiency. Because if the German is not good enough, and it might be that it's just because of these small mistakes, you just don't get a place for the entrance examination. So
I think there was some bit of disturbance, Akshat. If you can
okay.
repeat the last two lines, if you can repeat,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we have a few questions also. Though I would probably complete the process and then go on to the question. But last two lines
Okay.
of what you were sharing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's more like you need to first prepare all the applications very thoroughly. You need to go through all your motivation letters, all your grades, and all the German proficiencies. And all the universities have a checklist. So you can just go at the website, you go under the application section, and over there, they are very clearly defined what documents you need and all the proficiencies you need to prove. And I just recommend go to the university website, download the checklist, and prepare your application very thoroughly, because it's a very
Uh,
important part.
is it very different from say US or Canada applications? Because somehow in Delhi, a lot of people do US, UK, Canada. Like me and my team also
Mhm.
does it. So, what is the difference between applying to Germany versus applying to US? Like motivation letters, SOP, LOR, like a lot of things would be the same. But any major differences?
The major difference, I would say, is the cost of application. In many universities in Germany, till today, there are no costs. You just need to send your application and they do it completely free. That the application is processed, you get an invitation letter, and you just go. There are very few
Wow.
universities which work upon a portal, and this portal is called Uni Assist. And over there is a minimal charge, like 70 euros for the application. But the
What is
but that
the portal called?
Uni Assist. So that's the university assistance. So over
Okay.
there, many universities just want that you load your documents. It's like all online, and then they just process the documents and they send an invitation to you. And the charges are very minimal. Like it's really cheap in comparing to US and all these things. And the motivation letters, they just don't play that big a role as compared to US. The bigger role over here play the grades, like all the grades you have. And as per my experience, I've noticed that the co-curricular activities that are very important when you're applying to USA, to the Australia, like to any other country. In Germany, they don't play that big a role. Like they are important, they are all plus points, but the main role are just your grades. So that's why I'm just going to focus again, have good grades if you just want to have a confirmed place in Germany.
So, what kind of grades would really qualify? If I talk of CBSC, so
hmm
what kind of grades would qualify, or IB? I mean, if you can share.
hmm I would highly recommend around 90% minimum. And if you're having above 95%, that's just like a sure shot in the university.
Great, great. So, so again, for people who have joined us now, you start learning German from as early as possible. You take, like, you do the exams like A1, A2, B1. You take this certification B1,
hmm
B2, preferably C1. Use Goethe Institute. Apply like a typical international application. You start applying almost 1 year earlier, though you can
Yeah.
check exactly from the so student colleague is something for which you apply. And
Yeah.
once you apply when you apply, you have to have letter of motivation, which a lot of students will understand as SOPs.
Yeah.
There might be some essays, LOR, and some other documents to be submitted. And
Yeah.
having done that, now a student gets an invitation. So student goes for 1 year and kind of is there in Germany now. How does the process goes after this?
hmm So after that, it's usually so that you get an invitation, but the invitation is not a confirmed place in the student colleague. Once you get the invitation, you need to go to Germany and physically write the entrance examinations. And if you clear the entrance examination, then you get a place in the student colleague. And for like one complete year, you study like six subjects. Like for me, there were six subjects. That was Latin, that was physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology, and German. But for other courses, there are other subjects, and the level of the subjects is usually that of a class 11th, 12th. And but there are some new topics which are like not that difficult. And after all of these things, the final examinations are also all of these six subjects. And after that, it's like you further go into your main studies. But for the student colleague, you get the invitation. But with this invitation, you must apply a visa. Like the German consultancies, the German embassies, I would say, They just take this invitation letter and they give you a student visa for 6 months or probably 3 months. And with this student visa, only you are allowed to write a proof form. So they check everything. They check your student visa, they check your invitation letter, they check your German proficiencies once again, so that it's true that you really had the proficiency with which you applied and everything. And then it's usually how it goes. But an invitation letter at the first place, it's not a confirmatory place in the student colleague. Like there's still a small hurdle you need to overcome after the invitation.
Okay. So this is for medicine where I have to then write a competition. What about any other courses? Like I might be interested in biotechnology or
Mhm.
bioinformatics. So do I still need to write an entrance exam?
So in the student colleague, there are in total 4 courses available. That's the T course, that's for technical, so it's all related to engineering. There's the M course, that's the medical. There's the G course, that's for all the history. And there's the W course, and that's for economics. And for all the 4 courses, there's the same entrance examination. So it's just that your courses are different, but you're all writing the very same exam. And for every course, there are like 20 places, and there are in total like 600 students. So 600 students divided by 4 courses, that's like 150 students per course, and 20 are going to be selected. So the competition is not that tough. It's manageable, it's doable. It's just that if your German language skills are good, it's 100% going to be a success.
And what kind of questions come in that? Is it more reasoning oriented or is it just language
Mhm.
oriented? Like what all
It's
questions are
mostly
there?
language oriented. For example, there's going to be a passage, a complete paragraph, and half of the word is going to be there and the other half will be missing. It's called the Lücken text, and that's known as the gap text, in which only the half of the word is there. So you need to guess the other half and you have to make a sense in total. So it's basically more about your vocabulary in German, your grammatics in German, because the grammar is also going to play a very important role. If there's an adjective, you need to know if it's going to be a or it's going to be an. So after a, there's just a dash. You need to know if I have to put an n, if I don't have to put an n. So it's where the grammar comes into the play. And if it's just about the vocabulary, so you just need to go with the main words. For example, if it's medicine, they're just going to write med. And now you have to take notice of the entire situation. You need to read the sentence and you need to decide if it's medicine, if it's if it's something with med like a meditation or anything. So you need to decide it on yourself. So that's I'd say it's only the grammar and the vocabulary. So it's more of the language oriented test, not of like aptitude oriented.
Got it. Quickly, let's take two questions in between. Mr. Sanjeeva is asking, how much is the cost if I have to do medicine if the student is well versed in German? So, how much would one spend, like inclusive of everything? What kind of money spent would be there?
So it's very nicely also published. The average expenditure of a student in Germany is about 900 euros per month. So for the student colleague and all the trips and including everything, I would say for that one complete year, you need at least 12,000 euros. And that's just going to be the same every year. And the medicine studium is in total 6 years. So 6 years plus the 1 year of the student colleague. So we can just keep a budget of around 60,000 euros. And that's all you need to do a medicine studies in a medicine studium in Germany. But if
So,
you
60,000 euros is approximately 60
fif-
lakhs. Yeah,
no, it's roughly around 50 lakhs.
50 lakhs. So, is it
Yeah,
like, so 50 lakhs includes everything,
it
living,
includes
this, that?
everything, everything.
Wow, that's
But if you
not
go for
bad. I
That's
think that's
not bad.
great.
But if you go for private universities, it's really expensive. Like they charge like 8,000 euros per semester. So it's going to be like 15 lakhs every year, just the fees. And that's not the rent and everything you have plus on that things. So it's going to be like 20 lakhs per year. So it's just better to go into the public university.
And do I have employment opportunities if I do medicine in Germany? So do I have employment in Germany only, or can I look at employment in Europe, or maybe I can give other exams like for UK PLAB or USMLE and go to US, UK, or other countries? What is it that
Yes,
people do?
exactly. Yeah, you can either get employed in Germany itself because like in India, after you complete your medicine studies, you're employed in the university clinic and you can just stay there as long as you want. And there are many private clinics here in Germany. I myself, I'm currently working as a nurse in a private clinic. So there are many employment opportunities in Germany itself. But because you have a Schengen visa, you can go all over the EU. Like you can work in Spain, you can work in France, you can work in Belgium, Luxembourg, anywhere you want to work. And if you want to go to US, you write the USMLE examinations, and you're just very allowed to work in US as a complete full-time doctor. Or if you want to go to UK, it's just the other examinations you need to write and some English proficiency tests, because the complete medicine study in Germany is in German. So you just need to prove your English proficiency once again, that you're still not forgetting English and everything. So it's not that complicated. You can just work anywhere in the world once you complete your studies from Germany.
Great. So Mr. Ravi Mata says, my daughter has just come in 11th, having humanities with psychology. We want her to enroll in Max Muller next year due to age restrictions. So what is the scope in Germany after 12th for UG? So I think Akshat, like you were speaking about eco side. So if she's interested on that side, so she can again give the same exam, student colleague, and she can come to Germany. She can select universities, and the same process has to be followed. So she'll have to give an exam, Mr. Ravi, and she would also need to, of course, she should clear at least, I would say, B1, B2 here in India before she goes. So Goethe Institute, Max Muller is the right place to go. So I think you are on the right path. But if you need further help, Mr. Ravi Mata, you can connect with our team, because we can help her in her profile building and complete, step by step uh, things can be done so that she reaches Germany and she's everything is complete. And you can connect with us on these numbers which have been featured here on the screen. So yeah. So Akshat, so when it comes to, like, we discussed about people having Schengen visa and they're able to travel
Mm-hmm.
across. But I remember I also got I remember I got the Schengen visa right at the, like, I had to travel tomorrow and I got it today, like
Mm-hmm.
right at the moment. Somewhere there was some hiccup, and then I started off in my journey, and I was in Germany for some time, and almost after 2 days I was changing cities, and then I traveled from Munich to Zurich. And
Mm-hmm.
traveling is so comfortable, people, you just go, the buses are so comfortable, and
Yeah.
even so the public transport is amazing. So
Yeah.
you don't actually need to do taxis. I traveled all the time, I traveled through metros. In fact, when I was staying in Frankfurt, I took a hotel. It was Hauptbahnhof is the central station, is it?
Central Station. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it is.
It's
How do you
correct.
pronounce it?
It's Habanov.
Yeah,
It's correct. Yeah.
Habanov. Okay,
Yeah.
I would read it like English. So So Habanov was the station, and very close to my hotel, and I would just walk and just travel anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And people traveling by buses is, it's like a dream. I mean, you just go, you can book online, or you just go there and immediately you'll get it. There's a
Yeah.
bus starting like every half an hour kinds, and a very comfortable and amazing journey. I mean, you have to travel across Europe to understand this. I, I I enjoyed this. So in fact, I had gone in March also, in September also. Some parts of Europe I was doing. So, okay, Aryan Antil is asking, is Germany safe for students? What if the same kind of crime happens there? Like, what about safety of students and general safety? What is it that you feel?
So Germany is one of the safest country in the world. Like I can say, it's no fear living anywhere in Germany, and especially the big cities like Munich, Frankfurt, and Berlin. The police is like there's a car every 2 minutes available. So even if you make a call in like 10 seconds, anyone is going to be here. And otherwise also the WGs over here. That's the Wohngemeinschaft. That's like a WG in India, PG in India. Like many students live together, so it's always a plus in a safety point. And I think there's nothing to worry about the safety over here. It's really safe. Even if it's like 2 o'clock in the night, you can just go out and have a walk and come back. Like you can just start 4 o'clock in the morning. Like I also used to have to do that because I was early living very far and my hospital was very far, so I had to start very early. But that was never a problem. It's completely safe.
So Dhara Sharma is asking, if I want to apply to TOM student colleague, the T course
Hmm.
is above 90% a must along with other extracurriculars.
I would say yes.
So, so because again, there's a competition. Dara, I hope you were there when Akshat talked about how many people apply. Typically, how many students are there who finally get in. So, because there's competition, so 90% is good. But if you have above that, like 92, 93, or 95, then your chances are even brighter. It is
Yeah,
competitive. It is not a cakewalk. Yeah.
and
So
even for the
I get yeah. Yeah, I get approached by a lot of students who say, "Hey, I've got 70% and just send me to Germany." So it's not like that. You have to be a top scorer to get
yeah,
accepted because you're talking about the top universities in the world. Come on. So it's not that easy. Yeah, Akshat, sorry, you were saying something. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And even for the invitation, there's a competition. It's not like everyone gets the invitation who applies. So like if you have the good grades, only then you get the invitation. It's like 1,000 people are applying for the invitation, only 600 get the invitation, and from the 600, only 60 are selected. It's like it's a very big narrow downing, all the people who are there. So it's very competitive, I would say.
Okay. So, quickly, like, have it doesn't try to work over there like 20 hours per week. What kind of money can you earn? And like, how do I, how do I, uh, how do I start looking for work? Does it happen
Mhm.
easily? Does everyone work there?
Mhm. Yeah, so to this question, the answer is yes. Everyone can work over here. The legal limit is like 20 hours a day, 20 hours a complete week if you're a student, and the maximum salary should be around 450 euros. If you earn more than 450 euros, you need to pay the tax, and the taxes are really high. So the work finding process is not that difficult because there are many cafes available, there are many hospitals, there are many, even the BMW, they offer some very good deals if you just want to work as a student over there. And it's not like the university. You can work in the library, you can work in the mess, you can work with any professor, like arranging the documents and typing everything in the computer from the documents. And if you want to work in the restaurants, it's usually like you work as a servant and you work as if you can cook, if you can work as a cook, as a receptionist, and you can earn like roughly 12 euros to 14 euros an hour. That's very minimal what you get over here. And if you're working like a decent job, like at the university, I have had friends who have earned even 18 euros an hour, and that is too much money. If you calculate the entire month, all your expenses can just be covered in all of these things. And Amazon, BMW, and Google, a lot of companies offer many student jobs. So it's a very good scenario when it comes to student jobs in Germany.
Great, great. So, uh, any other things you'd like to mention to students who are thinking of studying in Germany, like uh, how they should plan? Should they keep some backup options in other countries, or they should just single-minded focus? They should just look at Germany because Akshat,
Hmm.
I also traveled to Zurich, and I visited ETH Zurich and University of
Hmm.
Zurich, which are again top universities, which are again free of charge.
Yeah.
So, so what is your comment? Like, should we keep a backup option, or how do we plan it out?
So I would recommend, because there's always a risk that you just not clear the entrance examination. So backup should be there. That is a must. And I cannot really comment of having a backup in any other country available in EU, the entire EU, but I can really comment on backup having in India. So like even if you just come to Germany, you can just have a small plan that if in any case it just did not work out, so you just have a backup in India, like you can do some biotechnology courses and you can do some microbiology. And if you still wish to come to Germany, you can just apply the next year again, and you can just again try your luck with these entrance examinations. But a backup is a must if you want to come to Germany. For me, Germany was a backup. So my main examination focus was the NEET examination, and because that did not work out very well, I came to Germany. But looking at Germany as the first option, I would say the NEET can be a backup, but it just depends on the student. Like if he wishes to have no backups, that's also not a very big problem, because in Germany it's quite easy to get a student place if you're just not looking for the top courses. Like I've had friends who just did not get into medicine for the first time. So they studied like psychology, they studied physiotherapy or something, because you can do a Ausbildung over here. And for the Ausbildung, you don't need to go to the university itself. You go to some places, there are professors over there, and they teach it very physically. So it's not like theoretical, but it's
Great.
very physical. So it's not like the actual university, but it's more like you can just learn everything you want. So it's like there's a gap for everything. Like you can just cover the gap with some bridges, and that's the Ausbildung, what I mean. So I think a backup should be there, but even if there's no backup, that's not a very big thing.
Great. I think for Indian students, that's a lot of information. A lot of Indian students I've seen are competing through NEET, and it's one of the most competitive exams in the world.
Yeah.
And having been to Germany, having seen cities like Frankfurt, Munich, and Stuttgart, I can say that Germany is one of the safest places in the world to go and study, to live
Yes.
thereafter. Germany also has a lot of jobs. People, I know people from other countries who flock to Germany. Even my students who have studied in countries like Austria, countries like Netherlands, countries like Finland, going to Germany for jobs. So in Europe, you can check out EURES. So EURES is European Union's portal, mobility portal. It is called Job Mobility Portal. So they help young people in finding internships and work opportunities in other countries which are a part of EU. So EU
Hmm.
as a whole, they do a lot of things which can help students. So you can log on to EURES also just to understand students. And as I shared yesterday also, so I through our Instagram, YouTube, we'll keep on doing a lot of lives, and we'll bring a lot of amazing people who would add on to your understanding of career opportunities and how you can plan out. So, Akshat, one last question.
Hmm.
So, what are the other courses people should look for? Like, these are the top three courses people, if they can do and they can get gainful employment in Germany, and what kind of starting salaries are there?
So the other courses that one can look for is like economics, pharmaceutical sciences, international relationships. Tourism is also a very hot deal over here. And then comes like anything with biotechnology and virology. These are very much in demand after the COVID-19. And to the starting salaries, it just depends on what you studied. For example, if you come to an engineer, the starting salary is roughly around 40,000 euros. That's considered very good. Like, it's not at all bad if you just,
40,000 euros. So,
yeah,
approximately 35 lakhs, 35,
yeah,
36 lakhs. Yeah.
exactly.
So, maybe,
But
yeah, 3 lakhs per month.
yeah, but you pay a very high tax. You pay like 48% tax. So it's
Oh,
roughly 20,000 euros you actually get in your pocket. And from that, you have to pay your rent, you have to pay for your food, you have to pay for your like traveling and everything. So it's manageable. It's a good salary if you just have started with your job. And over a year of 5 years, I'm talking about the engineering field, over the year of 5 years, you can just come up to like 80,000 euros or even 1 lakh euros, depending on how good you work and which companies you're working with. For example, Google and Amazon, they pay very high over here. BMW pays very good, but there are a lot of small companies. They pay okay, so it's like a good company to start with. But later on, you can just shift to any big company, and they pay a lot of money. And if you come to the medicine field, the starting salaries are roughly around 50,000 euros, just a little higher because the medicine study, like the entire medicine study time, is double of the engineering. Like for engineering, you need to study 3.5 years. For medicine, you need to study roughly 7 years. So the salary is a little high. And over the course of 5 years, the salary jumps to again 1 lakh euros or even like 1.5. It just depends on where you go, like which hospital you're working with. If you're working in a private clinic, it's more. If you're working in the university clinic, it's like the government things. So the salary is a little less, but the benefits are more. So it's very depending on what you're planning to do after your studies.
amazing. Amazing.
Yeah,
So that's great. So great information, Akshat. It was so nice to be here with you, and thanks a
same.
lot for taking our time.
Thank
And
you so much
student,
for letting me come.
great, great. So students, if you have any further queries, you can get in touch with our study abroad and application team. We also help students in profile building. The numbers are there in the chat. You can see, uh, guys, or we are. So a lot of people appreciating Akshat. Miss Seema Singla, Vandana Bansal, Nisha Jain. So a lot of appreciation coming. Even Sanjeeva Shandlia is a good friend also, and he's also appreciating for the wonderful, uh, wonderful information you have provided. We have Arushi Sharma thanking you. Uh, I think people really enjoyed what you shared, Akshay. So that's good, wonderful information, and I look forward to inviting you for more sessions also. So I wish you all the best. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.